guys? The boy here. Welcome back to the channel. Honestly, I really don't have the slightest idea or the slightest clue on what today's video is going to be about. So I guess whatever you read inside the title, that's just what the video is going to be about today. So in the meantime, I'm going to just go off top. I guess I can talk about a few things, but it's kind of like, I don't want to talk about, retention or women or relationship advice all the time. So I don't know. I really don't know. I just feel like not only that it's like getting a little bit too saturated as far as like what's on YouTube, but also at the same time, this is what people need to get educated on, rather than just kind of being forced in the dark about it. But I guess what I can talk about now, since I am kind of rambling now, is women cannot teach boy to become a man. Yeah, that's gonna be the topic for today. Women, you cannot teach your son or any boy to become a man. You could teach them how to be a gentleman, but as far as becoming a man, that is something that one, the father is supposed to give this rite of passage to, but two, if the father's not present, then that's already an issue. But two, typically, a father figure of some sort, or we have the tertiary option where you're just gonna have to figure it out on your own, through looking at other like male role models as far as who do you aspire to be. Now, reason why I say this is because women must understand, like, feminine energy must understand, like, a woman's life and a man's life are two different perspectives of life. And I'm not saying that, oh, one life is better than the other. But what I am saying is there comes two different sides of the world that only I can see, and other species in my likeness around me can see. The type of things that I would experience as a man won't be the same experiences that a woman might have to face. You know what I mean? And with that being said, bringing this back to like the primal days, what I always talk, well, not always, but I'm recently talking about like just the primal state of mind in my recent videos now, and it's just like I always go back to this because this is what was before we had technology. You know what I'm saying? Everything was so primal. Everything was based off of instincts. Now we have things so done on automation so easily that we don't really have to think about things too much, and it's kind of hurting us as far as how we evolve through as mankind. But getting back to the point here is, men and women will live two different perspectives. As far as, we'll live the same life, if you want to get technical, but in perspective, yeah, we live two entirely different lives, and there's just some things that a woman cannot teach a boy. That's something that a man is going to have to teach. And, jotting back to the primal, it's just like back then, we'll hear about these tribes, all the good and strong tribes always have like this, honestly, any tribe in general, but any tribe, we have this sort of rite of passage as far as like, the woman getting ushered in and nurtured into womanhood, and the boys, well, the girls, getting ushered into womanhood, and the boys are, if we're looking at TV shows like, Spartacus, anything in that nature. As you can see, like, in order to become a man back then, you have to become a gladiator. That was the life that you had to go through, that rough life of just always going out there and competing, because this is what it is in the actual world. We live in a world full of competition. Me and you can be in the same family tribe right now, but we're always going to be competing simply because that's just our nature. Who can create the most, who can obtain the most resources out here. Now, back on topic is, back then, we had to be a Spartan. And being a Spartan and a gladiator was not an easy task, especially growing up from being a boy and you have all these other boys, we, back then, bro, they were so vicious back then, you know what I mean? As far as like the level of testosterone, I bet you these 15-year-old Spartans, gladiators, whatever you want to call them, have probably, I'll even go as far to say 200% more testosterone than the modern men in the society today, simply because we lack the aggression that they primarily have in their instincts, because there were men, strong men in their life to present them the energy and the knowledge and wisdom and experience to earn their stripes and transition from boy to man. We don't really have that too much of this nowadays. You know what I mean? Typically nowadays, it's just like what happens. Boy, well, father meets mother, soon to be mother. They have children, and then something always happens. Whatever, for whatever reason, the father's just not present no more in their life, and now it affects the children. Especially if there's any boys. But even same goes for the females. But as far as for this topic specifically, it hurts the boys because as boys, we're supposed to be looking up to our father as the ultimate male role model. As far as he's supposed to teach me everything that I'm supposed to know and how to navigate through this life. You know what I mean? You're supposed to give me the keys and teach me how to drive this car before I even grow up and even get inside this car to start messing around with it. And with today's society, we don't have that rite of passage no more. I mean, if we do, it's very rare in like some scenarios that, oh, we can grow up in a mother and a father home. Both parents are present in the household, and this is not to blame the parents, obviously, but honestly, you can blame society, but end of the day, you can also blame the choices that we make as human beings, as far as who do we decide we can lay next to. But the case being told here is it's harming us, because nowadays in society, a lot of men, we grow up with no direction. And I bet you here in the Western culture, there are more men here in the Western culture than it is in any other culture around the world that probably is, not even probably, but it is experiencing a single parent household. And most of the time, it is the mother, the nurturer, that is taking care of the boys. But later in life, these boys become so, let's say, docile, or they become so unmasculine, because they're so used to their mother fulfilling that masculine role of being a provider, when the feminine role of a woman is just supposed to be the nurturer. The nurturer, she's supposed to take care of things and nurture things while the men go out and go provide. But if she's doing what the masculine man is supposed to do, then the sons will eventually never understand that, oh, my mother was the one providing, so I'm gonna go later in life get a female that can provide, rather than me being the one that can provide for the female, because that's something that my father never taught, because he left his duty and his responsibility to teach his seeds the importance of providing as a man. Teach you all the manly, masculine things there is to sustain as a man in this life. Life as a man is a marathon, but we must sprint. And a lot of times, bro, if you're watching this video, you probably know that, but I mean, if you've never seen this video, or you get so early into your spiritual development, then yeah, you don't even know that you were racing until just now. You've been in this race for so long, and you're just now realizing that you're racing, compared to some of us who's been racing for the last couple of years, maybe even decades. Point is, it's always been a race. But pretty much wrapping around the video on what the point I'm trying to make here is, any father that is currently here watching this video, if you're a father watching my video, please stay in the lives of your offspring. It is going to benefit them so much early on as they get older, being able to have a father that can properly lead them down the rite of passage into manhood. A mother cannot teach a boy to be a man. She can teach him to be a very, very, very good gentleman. But as far as what a man actually is and everything a man is, the whole 9 yards, that is supposed to be something you have to provide to that. And if you don't provide to that child, the knowledge, the rite of passage, whatever you want to call it, then it's going to be a very, very difficult life for the offspring if this offspring never picks up anything like self-improvement or understanding the difference between masculinity and femininity, the difference between masculine and feminine. You know, this child is going to struggle and he's going to grow up soft, very soft and very complacent with what he is. You know, the goal of this society is to take fathers away from the family, so any boy grows up, he can become soft and feminine. And with that being said, you won't have anybody creating new business ideas. The rich can stay richer, and on top of that, all these boys who are becoming men are just now becoming more feminine because they're okay with somebody else above them telling them what to do, rather than being the guy that's above everybody calling the shots. I mean, it's simply the truth. You know what I mean? It's simply the simple truth of life. But honestly, this has been a mistake that we've all made as humanity, and it is currently really affecting us so bad. And just seeing how everything really works out now is just like, wow. Fathers, we really got to start stepping up. You know, if you're currently in your son's life, I need you to take the responsibility of showing this boy on how to become a man. You know, start giving this man advice. You know, start doing things. Start being the example that you want your son to grow up to be. Because half the times we got the fathers in our life, but they're not masculine enough. You know what I mean? They're so unbalanced with their masculinity, bro. Some of these fathers are more feminine than sons. We need to become conscious of this masculine movement, and we can start progressing, evolving forwards into a better tomorrow, because each and every day is going to be another child. You know what I mean? The birth of life, the creation of life doesn't stop. The moment that I'm born, you're born, anybody else watching is born. Life is being created right now as we speak. And with the statistics it's showing, probably for every, 1 to 3 babies being born, I know at least 2 of them fathers ain't going to be there. You know what I mean? So think about how many sons don't have this rite of passage or have some type of male role model. If you're going to be a father, please be the male role model for life. You know, if you're somebody who is watching this and you are kind of looked at as the male role model for another man's life, please make good decisions and set good examples, make choices, and put the younger guy on game. You know, help him transition, even though it's not your responsibility, but it is your responsibility as a leader to at least show somebody what is the right way of doing things, going about things. Anyways, I gotta get busy. You gotta stay up. New videos coming out. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Peace.